Right now, as you're watching this, you might be a felon and not even know it. March 2024. A courtroom in New Orleans. 3 judges just shattered 8 laws that millions of gun owners thought were permanent. And here's the insane part. The media buried it. CNN? Silent. MSNBC? Not a word. Even Fox barely whispered about it. But this ruling doesn't care if you heard about it or not. It's already active. It's already changing what's legal and what's not. And if you're carrying concealed right now, you need to understand something critical. The rules you memorized last year might not exist anymore. The case is United States versus Rahimi. You might have heard that name thrown around, but what nobody's telling you is what happened after the Supreme Court sent it back down. The Fifth Circuit didn't just review it, they took a sledgehammer to restrictions that have been on the books for decades. We're talking about laws that determined where you could carry, when you could carry, and whether you'd end up in prison for making one wrong turn into the wrong parking lot. Here's what makes this terrifying and exciting at the same time. Over 40 million Americans have concealed carry permits. Most of them have no idea this ruling exists. They're still following old rules, still avoiding certain places, still limiting themselves based on laws that a federal appeals court just ruled unconstitutional. Think about that. You could be restricting your own rights based on ghost laws. And before we go any further, if you care about knowing what's actually legal versus what people think is legal, you need to subscribe right now. Because what I'm about to walk you through isn't just legal theory, it's the difference between exercising your rights and accidentally becoming a criminal because nobody bothered to tell you the law changed. So let's get into what actually happened in that courtroom. Because once you understand this, you'll never look at gun-free zones the same way again. Here's where this gets wild. The Fifth Circuit didn't just rule on one restriction. They systematically dismantled 8 separate limitations that states have been using to control where and how you carry. And each one of these has put people behind bars. Each one has cost gun owners thousands in legal fees. Each one was considered settled law until March. Let me break down what just evaporated. First, parking lot bans at private businesses. You know those signs that say, "No firearms on premises, including parking lots"? The court said if your gun stays locked in your vehicle, that's protected. The employer or business owner doesn't get to extend their authority into your personal property, your car, your rights. Think about how many people have been fired over this, how many faced criminal charges. Gone. Second, sensitive place restrictions around schools got shredded, not eliminated, but the blanket 1,000-foot radius zones? The court said that's not how the Second Amendment works. You can't just draw a circle on a map and call it a gun-free zone without historical precedent. This one's huge because almost every urban area has a school within 1,000 feet of something. Third, public housing firearm bans. Residents in federally subsidized housing were told for years they couldn't have guns in their own homes. The Fifth Circuit looked at that and said, your economic status doesn't strip your constitutional rights. Imagine being told you're too poor to defend yourself in your own apartment. Fourth, restrictions on carrying during declared emergencies. Remember COVID? Some governors banned concealed carry during lockdowns. The court said emergencies don't suspend the Constitution. When danger increases, your right to self-defense doesn't decrease. Fifth, prohibitions on carrying in any government building. Not courtrooms with armed security. We're talking DMV offices, public parks administration buildings, places with zero security. The court ruled you can't blanket ban guns from all government property just because it's government property. Sixth, bans on carrying at private businesses open to the public unless explicitly permitted. This flips the script. Instead of banned unless allowed, it's becoming allowed unless banned. And even then, only with proper legal signage. But here's where it gets even crazier. The 7th and 8th restrictions they struck down, those are the ones that could land you in federal prison with charges you didn't even know existed. The 7th restriction the Fifth Circuit destroyed, prohibited person carry enhancements based on location. Here's what that means in English. If you were prohibited from owning firearms, even for non-violent reasons, even from decades ago, and you were caught carrying in certain places, prosecutors could stack charges. They'd hit you with illegal possession, then add 5, 10, even 15 years just because of where you were standing. A parking lot, a park, near a school you didn't even know was there. The Fifth Circuit said this violated proportionality. You can't multiply someone's sentence by geography. The eighth one is the most controversial, and the one gun control advocates are terrified people will find out about. Carry prohibitions based on good moral character clauses. You know those concealed carry applications that ask if you're of good moral character? Where bureaucrats get to decide if you're worthy of your rights. The court said that's unconstitutional prior restraint. Your rights aren't subject to someone's opinion of your character. You either meet the legal qualifications or you don't. No more subjective denial based on someone behind a desk deciding they don't like you. Now here's the part that should make your blood run cold. How many people are sitting in jail right now for violating laws that no longer exist? How many plea deals were signed? How many gun owners are still following restrictions that a federal court just ruled unconstitutional? And here's the even bigger question. Will your state comply? Because the Fifth Circuit covers Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. But the legal logic they used? That's spreading. Other circuits are watching. Other courts are citing this decision. This isn't just a regional ruling. It's a blueprint. So what do you do with this information? First, understand that laws don't change overnight in practice. Prosecutors will still charge you. Cops will still arrest you. You need to know your specific state's response to this ruling. Second, document everything. If you're carrying somewhere that used to be restricted, know the law. Have it saved on your phone. Understand what changed and when. Third, get legal protection. Because even if you're right, fighting it in court will cost you everything. The Fifth Circuit just handed gun owners the biggest legal victory in years. But victories mean nothing if you don't know they happened. The media won't tell you. Your state won't advertise it. That's why you're here. That's why this matters. Stay informed, stay legal, and for God's sake, stay subscribed, because this fight is far from over.